honestly think Bungie's trying to set a record right now. I really do. I honestly think that they're trying to make it into the Guinness Book of World Records for the fastest credibility and integrity plummet of any company in history. Well, maybe Bernie Madoff and Enron can rival them. But this is just fucking embarrassing now, man. Even the YouTube auditor is shaking his head, giving himself a facepalm right now, while with the other hand, he's being told to go fuck himself. But anyway, the details of the Dark Below were officially released, but as I've stated in a previous video, the majority of this shit was already known. Based on the in-game glitch that revealed all the DLC ahead of time, we know that there were going to be 3 story missions. We knew that there were going to be strike missions coming, weapons, a raid, and armor, and all that other good shit. There were also hints that the light level would be raised to 32 since the Crota raid on hard was going to be at level 32. And the only surprise, if you want to call it that, is that we get a new character in the tower called Eris, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and she relates to the storyline. But let me start at the biggest point of contention with this bullshit. This is not an expansion pack. Not even fucking close to an expansion pack. It's bloated DLC. That's all it is. It's unlockable DLC in which the areas that are already completed and can probably have enemies and shit added at any given time, yet they're making you pay for it. In essence, it's the bullshit that I said that would happen weeks ago when this shit first leaked, and even before it leaked, when I made a video about lowering the price of the DLC to something more reasonable. Expansion packs and DLC are 2 different items, completely fucking different. Now, as much as people do want to lump them together, there's a significant difference between the two. DLC is basically additional content that doesn't really alter the existing product. It's just extra. Take Call of Duty, for example. A new map pack does not really affect the old map pack. If Call of Duty adds the Cunt Punt DLC pack, for example, that doesn't affect any of your original maps like Scumbag, Asshole, Bullshit, Lying Motherfucker, or any of the other names they have on these maps nowadays. Sound like some good names for maps and shit like that, don't they? Anyway, DLC can be anything from a map to a jersey in a sports game to a new car in a racing game to tracks in a racing game, whatever the fuck. But the fundamental principle is that nothing in the DLC truly alters what's already in existence in the game. And that's where an expansion pack comes in. Best examples of that will be World of Nerdcraft. Sorry, bad habit. World of Warcraft. Now, World of Warcraft, expansion packs essentially change the entire landscape of the game. It adds way more land, it adds way more content, and it really does feel like a smaller version of a different game. It's not just a change to a map, it's the whole fucking game changing to the content. Whether World at War adds elves or orcs or whatever, what's this new one called, man? It's got some man-bear pig going on as one of the main characters, you know, whatever, they don't give a shit. The point is, as an expansion pack, it's meant to exist your already existing content, while DLC just adds to the content you already have. And what do you think Destiny is creating? DLC. What are they calling it? An expansion pack. Fuck me, that couldn't be more incorrect if they possibly tried that shit, man. This game is not expanded on anything. There is no additional areas that aren't already on the disc to begin with. All the new areas that they want to call these shits are just being populated with enemies, even though they've already programmed those entire areas. There's no additional planet. There's no additional open location where you can pick patrol missions or public events and shit like that. It's basically another sorry-ass excuse for DLC. It is not an expansion pack. An expansion pack would have included something like a new planet, a new location tacked onto an existing planet or something like that. Maybe an extension of Earth. Maybe an extension of Mars or Venus. I know they're going to say, well, we're expanding on the moon and shit like that. No, you're not. You're just opening up areas that are already fucking there. It could have also been more storylines that opens up more of this semi-open world, but instead, we get completely shafted. Again, regarding content. You know, it really does prove that this game felt unfinished, and the unfinished parts are being sold to us as DLC. It really feels like the content that should have been included in the fucking game, but was left out intentionally so that they can make profit in some form or another down the road. It's another slap in the face towards Bungie's customers. It's another scheme from Activision on how to make money off of gamers by intentionally screwing them over. It's a big reason why gamers just don't trust studios and developers, even glorified ones like Bungie. They mislabel shit as expansion packs, yet it's nothing more than trumped up DLC. It's fucking pathetic, and it's disgusting that a company this known and this well loved continues to treat its customers like shit. Now, as part of the DLC, and this is what I'm going to refer to it as because that's all it is, because it's not a fucking expansion pack, they're giving us a new character in the tower who will lead us on these fucking story missions. Personally, they made it seem like they finally listened to us, and they're going to be making something unique for the storyline missions. Personally, I don't fucking believe them. They said that these missions are going to be more like exotic bounties bounties or whatever the fuck, and you're gonna have to do certain things. But I'll tell you right now, there's a track record already of lies and overhyping half-assed bullshit. Remember the Queen bounty? How did that go? Remember the first Iron Banner, you know, before all the corrections and patches and shit? Yeah, how did that go? Bungie is trying to position this character as something unique to what we've had in the past already. However, we've heard that line before. There is only so many times you can cry wolf before people stop believing you. I stopped already. I don't listen to a word of their bullshit until they prove it to actually be true. I don't listen to a damn thing at this point because there's been very little they haven't lied about already. So maybe we do get a new character this time who's not as fucking worthless as the goddamn Queen bounty garbage. But until it's seen, I will assume it's going to fail like every other piece of shit that hasn't lived up to the expectations in this goddamn game. Now, the raid content is probably the only thing worth a damn on the DLC, but let's be realistic. Is it worth $20? Does anyone here want to pay $20 for just one fucking raid? For what? To get trolled in that shit too and get no goddamn loot? Bitch, please, man. I would love to do the Crota raid and basically face off against a reskinned wizard or knight at the end. Oh, this fucking stupid shit, man. But to pay $20 for this, it's just fucking stupid. I mean, it really is a kick in the dick to people, especially when the content is already so goddamn limited. PlayStation players will also be getting the second strike. You know, on the map that already exists, that they just blocked you all from visiting in this motherfucker? Yeah, great fucking idea. Both consoles are going to get the Will of Crota mission in the Jovian complex on Earth. You know, that complex that's been closed off since the start of the game. Since the fucking beta and the alpha, for that matter of fact. But on the other hand, PlayStation customers are going to be getting the Undying Mind and the Black Garden, which will be another Vex mission and shit like that. I mean, essentially, this is the whole console argument of buying all this content ahead of time for your gamers and screwing over the other console. But in all honesty, all these years they're having Call of Duty do it to us when it comes to Microsoft and their agreement. Personally, I don't fucking mind this one. Now, the people that don't pay attention to these kind of things, they look at this content and they say, ooh, look at all the pretty colors, let me buy it. But if you look at Destiny and Activision's description of the content, all new raid, increased level cap, follow Eris on dangerous missions to lock all the secrets of the game, 2 brand new strike missions, and tons of weapons and shit, it sounds like a good deal. But when you look at the reality of what's being given, the Jovian complex is finally being opened and populated with enemies, although people were able to get into that motherfucker, glitch their way in, and see that it was already completed and it actually had some enemies. King's Watch already has enemies in that motherfucker, we just can't get in there. The Hellmouth is finally being fully opened and populated with enemies. Guns and equipment are in the game being unlocked, the level cap's going to be increased, requiring you to farm materials to make your gear all the way up to level 32, whatever the fuck with this bullshit, man. Personally, I don't see the value in paying 1/3 the price of the game for only 1/6 or 1/7 the content. I'm not sold on buying this. And in the meantime, I am perfectly content on skipping this DLC pack. I think there are very few other games out there coming on the horizon, which is most likely going to be the reason why people buy this bullshit. But I mean, let's just be honest. Coming in November, we're going to be having Call of Duty. Of course, I'm not buying that bullshit. We're going to have Assassin's Creed. We're also going to have The Crew and a few other games that are going to be coming up. But the majority of shit has been delayed until 2015. Basically, this is Bungie and Activision's last chance to prove that Destiny is worth the fuck. But really, at $20 for expanded on bloated DLC, do they really think that's what's going to keep people playing this motherfucker? But at this point, everything they touch, they screw the fuck up. Almost anything they say or do when it comes to the game turns off gamers, and they really haven't done anything of worth, especially considering that they promised buffs to exotic weapons like the Thorn and Bad Juju. They said that they were going to fix the Iron Banner, yet we've yet to see those changes. But meanwhile, they'll always fix and make the raid harder, yet they don't fix the actual issues like the portals that are breaking, the oracles that don't show up, the steps that don't show up, all that other bullshit. It really is a shame that a game with so much potential routinely pisses it away at every corner. And this is a big reason why I'm not fully sold on this DLC. As of right now, I really don't think I'm going to play it. Now, I don't want to say that I'm not going to get it, because I may get it down the road, but reality is, I just don't see the value in paying for $20 for something that's really not worth the price of admission. I didn't buy all those Call of Duty DLCs that people say, oh yeah, you're going to buy the DLC. No, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy Call of Duty games when I said I wasn't going to buy those motherfuckers. I didn't buy Assassin's Creed 4 because I got burned out on that shit. And I'll tell you right now, this is one of those items that really looks like I'm going to have to skip, just based off of the fact I don't trust Bungie, I don't trust Activision, and I sure as hell don't want to give these two companies 20 more of my dollars, considering this game feels incomplete and that my money is going to complete their fucking game. No, complete your fucking game that I paid $60 for, and then I will consider giving you $20 if I feel you're expanding upon the game with your expansion packs, as opposed to just giving me some bloated ass DLC. Anyways, y'all knew the rant was coming. I know I said I was going to do the hipfire commentary video today that I owed you guys from last week, but you know what? Fuck it. This shit was much more important to get out of the way. So as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And I'll see you guys in the next video.